Yes, welcome everyone here to the Smash Sports Show right here on Smash FM here on a Monday here in Melbourne. Of course, let's turn our attention now. We go from Brisbane to Darwin in particular, and of course, and speak with the defending champions in the NTFL women's competition. And seems to be a long time ago now since the grand final happened. Of course, it was right at the start of the year. And of course, for the PINT team in particular, they just didn't win one premiership this season, but just gone. But they won two. They clean swept the women's competition fairly easily at the end for both their teams. And of course, we got very special guest joining us right now to tell us a bit about how, of course, the senior women's team went in particular in their grand final. And of course, the season just gone about, seems like 5 months ago now. Her name's Amy. She joins us right now. Thanks, Amy, for joining us.
Thanks, Will. Thanks, Smash FM, for having me.
No worries. Well, even though I've already introduced you already, I'll get you to introduce yourself again, and obviously what position you played on the field last season.
So, Amy Chittick, pretty much everyone calls me Chitty. That's my nickname. Play mainly on the ball in PINTs, but I occasionally play as a half forward. But yeah, mostly on the ball, especially this season. First season at PINTs, so came across from Waratahs. Just wanted a bit of a fresh start, and yeah, haven't looked back. And yeah, couldn't have asked for a better group of girls and a better year. So really enjoyed it.
What would you about the season? You just mentioned that you came across from a pretty good club in the Waratahs to PINT. Why the move? And the second part of that question is, were you surprised that once you went over to PINT that you went all the way and win it all?
So I was at Waratahs for 8 seasons. So I was obviously, first went there when I was 14. Was actually too young to play, so ran water for the women's team. And then, played my first game the next year. So I spent 8 years there. And, you know, I loved every minute of it. And that's always going to be pretty special to me, my time there. But, you know, I'm 23 now, and I sort of felt like I needed a bit of a fresh start, a bit of a change and change of environment. I think sometimes, you know, when you're at the same place for so long, you sort of get a bit stagnant and you sort of just become a bit lazy, I think. And I mean, for me, I needed different motivations, and I wanted a new challenge. And obviously, PINTs have a good reputation as being a very good club as a whole. Not even talking about on the field, I'm talking about the people that they have involved. And that's, you know, that's the women's team, that's the men's team, that's the coaches, the boards. So for me, I did think long and hard about it, but when I actually made the decision, I haven't looked back, and I won't be looking back. So it was a bit of a surprise to do as well as we did. You know, I knew we definitely had the players to be able to do it, and our coach Rick Nolan, who is quite well known not only in the NT football circles but around Australia and interstate. He's won a few premierships, and he's very highly regarded and well respected in football circles. So obviously having Ricky there was really good. He lifted the intensity of our sessions, and he pushed us to be the best that we could. So I think probably maybe midway through the season, we were undefeated. We'd had a few close games, but I think that's when we really started to get that self-belief and think, you know, if we keep doing this, what can we achieve? And I think a lot of the girls, when they saw how well we started, they sort of, you know, got that inner motivation to want to go all the way, and they actually believed and realised it was possible. So I think, I don't think we sort of expected it at the beginning, but after about 8 to 10 games, we sort of thought it's definitely possible. And I mean, it couldn't have worked out any better.
First season point, how difficult was it to play against your former team first game around?
It was I think it was about 5 weeks in, I think. So definitely had enough time to settle in with the new group and the new girls. And there was obviously a bit of nerves leading into it. And, you don't really know how it's going to be received and what it's going to be like. So I was definitely a bit nervous, and I did feel a bit of pressure. I obviously wanted to perform, and in terms of the game, it was a very tough game. I think at that point of the season, Waratahs had only lost one game, I believe, at that point. So they were obviously doing quite well, and we ended up winning in the end. I think it was about 4 goals we won by, but I think that game was probably one of the toughest that we had all season. There's always a bit of heat in it, and especially being so fresh, I think everyone's it's a bit raw for everyone, and everyone just wants to get out there and put their best foot forward. But I mean, it was good to see some of my old teammates after the game and, give them a hug, shake their hands and catch up with them, because obviously Waratahs will always be pretty special to me, and I'll always have a lot of respect and thanks for that club for everything they've done for me as I was growing up. I was 14 when I went there, so a lot of the girls there, they helped me with a lot of things in life, and they are and always will be part of my family. So I couldn't be more thankful. I just think in life, things change and people change and circumstances differ. So I still went and supported them, and I'd go down and watch their games. I was actually living with one of the girls for a bit that played for Waratah, so I'd still go down, watch their games, and go into the club rooms after and have a drink. So I'm still very much in contact with the girls. So
the season, unbelievable season. Pretty much you went through the whole year undefeated. How amazing was that with an amazing team, and a way that especially that second half of the season where you completely pretty much dominated the competition from start to finish on most weeks. Tell us that this amazing journey throughout the season, which, mind you, playing on the conditions up there in NT, in the hot conditions in the summer, it's not easy, and going through the season virtually undefeated. Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, I think the heat obviously doesn't do any favours for anyone. You rock up to game day, you play at the hottest time of the day, and, it's 34 degrees, it's 90% humidity. You probably think, why aren't I playing lawn bowls or something? But, for 6 months of the year, that's all that's all you do. And obviously with a good group of girls, you wouldn't want to do anything different. But I think, obviously the last half of the season was quite challenging. We had a few injuries. A few girls, had some injuries. Unfortunately, we had one of our girls do an ACL. I think that was about the first half of the season, Cara, which is unfortunate. She's an exceptional player in the midfield. She's so strong, and she was one of the originals at PINT when they first started. So it was, quite disappointing to see her go down, but she's such a team person. She was there supporting and helping us out. But the second half of the year, we had a few ankles and a few fingers, I think. And in the grand final, Katie Stretter unfortunately did her ACL.
That's right.
Be out for 12 weeks. But I guess every footy season, you've got injuries. But I think the injuries and the way our second half of the season went just made it that bit more special, because we had to overcome some problems and just little niggles. And I think, that the way we did it and the way we overcame it just made it feel a lot better, and we definitely earned it, I think.
Was there a certain point in the grand final that you had a chance to just sit back and just enjoy the moment? I know you were playing hard throughout that game and not really giving too much sign to your opposition. Definitely
not. We played Buffaloes, who we had quite a few close and difficult games. They actually beat us a few weeks before.
Correct.
And the times that we beat them, I think it was maybe less than a goal, both occasions, or maybe 2 goals. So they're a very strong team, and they're very well rounded, but they do have a few standout players. Dominic Carbone, which she's been playing at Hawthorn in the VFL women's comp, and hopefully she'll get picked up. She's a leader as well. She was their captain, but through the midfield, she's just so solid. She stands up when you need. So they had her. They have Ashanti Bush, who I think also spent some time with the Hawks in the VFL. Absolute live wire and X factor around the goals. So when you get, we've got players like that along with their more experienced players, Kylie Duggan, Michaelia Roberts, who was on Collingwood's AFLW list, and then Molly Outhouse Cooper, who can play really forward, ruck, defence. She's quite tall, quite built, but you see her football skills. She moves like a small forward. So they certainly had, they had the quality there. And every time we played them, we loved it because it was exactly the kind of game we wanted. They pushed us, they tested us, and we learned the most about ourselves as a team playing against them because of how they play and their aggression and their passion. So that grand final was no different. It was pretty much goal for goal, I think, up until about half time. And, it's sort of, when you're in the moment, you don't really realise what's at stake in the game. And then I think it's only afterwards you sort of reflect and you sort of realise, what just happened. But 3/4 time, I think it was just before 3/4 time when Katie Stretter did her ACL.
Correct.
So, a few of the girls were sort of not sure, will she come back on? Won't she? And, everyone knows it, and everyone, when it's a player like that, everyone, you feel upset. And the biggest thing is mentally getting over it and, realising you've still got another quarter to go. But Stretter, she's absolutely selfless. She just wanted the best for the team, and that's why she's an incredible person and a leader. But she, I think she gave us that extra motivation we needed. But 3/4 time, I think we were in front. It was about a goal maybe. And Ricky Nolan, who is probably not known for the amount of time he spends giving an address to a team, but I tell you what, when he talks, you listen and it's worth it. So his 3/4 time speech, I think everyone walked back to their positions, ready to leave the field on a stretcher. We were just so motivated, and seeing what happened to Stretter as well just gave us that extra motivation, and we definitely needed it because they kicked 2 goals on us.
Correct.
Towards the end of the game. And watching the foot back, I actually realised I think the ball was just rebounding out of their forward 50 when the siren went, and before that they had 2 shots at goal and they were both behind. So I think once I saw that, I sort of realised how quickly and how different it could have been. But when that siren went, it's just, you can't explain it. People that don't play sport probably wouldn't understand the feeling, but it's incredible. I remember I ran to Hendo, who's our captain, co-captain with Katie Stretter. I just remember running to her, and, we just saw each other and just jumped, gave each other the biggest hug. And there's actually a photo of it, which I'm hoping to get framed and put up in my place because it's just so special. And yeah, I think that moment, I've been lucky to have a lot of good sporting moments in my life, and I have won premierships with Waratahs, but I think that one, the Pints one, is probably the most special one, and it was pretty emotional. A lot of the girls there have been there since Pint first started, the women's team first started, about, I think, 6-7 years ago. So, for them to be there and to build something from the bottom and grow it, it was pretty special to be a part of that with them and for them. So I've got goosebumps right now talking about it and thinking about it.
I need to ask you then, now, watching that game, it was pretty close to you, right? It was, when the siren went, was in your opponent's, Darwin's forward 50, or just rebounded out of it when the siren went. But I have to ask, the emotion that came out of, especially when you had received the premiership medals, as well. A lot of hugs and cuddles in the photos when you've got your medals, which is still on the NTFL website for everyone that want to watch that back or even look that back. I guess firstly, I can see you got your medal around your neck, which would be my next question as well. But how special was it, and especially to I guess to be part of that team photo, because obviously the Div 2 team won it about a couple of weeks before that.
Yeah, so as a club, we were extremely successful. I don't actually know if any other club in Australia would have done what we did. We have 4 senior teams. We have a Women's Premier League, Women's Div 2, Men's Division 1 and Men's Division 2. We all played in the grand final and we all won. So I think to have your 4 senior teams play and win, it's pretty much unheard of. And, you know, the guys that have been around footy for their whole lives would come up to us and just, you know, say how special it was for them to be a part of, you know, their win with their team. And, you know, you definitely feel like you're so a part of it because of what we were able to do as a group and as a club. And another pretty special moment was after we won, we were the last game of the day. So we watched our Div 2 and then our Div 1 win, and then it came to us because our women's Div 2 played the week before and they won. But then we just watched our men's Div 1 and men's Div 2 play and win. And then, you know, we're the last game and it's sort of up to us. You know, you sort of feel a bit more like, oh, we've got to get it done. And it was pretty good to watch them win. It definitely gave us a bit of fire in the belly. But one of my favourite things was after we had our presentation, there was a bit of overlap before the Men's Premier League Grand Final, and all 4 of our teams, so our men's, women's, senior teams, supporters, physios, everyone actually got out onto the oval, made a big circle and put our 4 cups in the middle and sang our song. And there's a fair few photos of us in that, and it's on the NTFL page as well. But it was pretty special to just see everyone there that was involved in some way, shape or form with the club be able to be there singing the song, take a photo and just sharing it with everyone, especially given how supportive our men's teams and our women's Div 2 teams are towards us. It's very much a one club, you know, one family, 4 teams, motivation, attitude. So it was a pretty special moment to be a part of it, have everyone there together.
My question I always ask teams that win a premiership, which is, number 1, did you get a chance to have a photo with the cup? I'm pretty sure you did, actually, because I did see it. And the second question is, did you kiss the Premiership Cup, even though technically we're not supposed to in COVID times?
Yeah, so plenty of photos with the cup. The cup, spent a bit of time with all of us and got passed around. We had our the night we won, went back to our clubhouse, celebrated there. And then the next day and the Monday, we also had our celebration. So the cup definitely got a workout. Surprised it's still in one piece, to be honest, but it's made pretty well. So shout out to the trophy company that makes them. Done a good job. But did get a photo with the cup and did actually get one kissing the cup, which I'm pretty happy with it. It captures the emotion and definitely portrays how I felt about it. But I think, a few of the girls, definitely camera rolls on their iPhones were just them with the cup and their medals. So it's, you want to take photos, you want to have the memories there. And we've got to keep our Guernseys. So I actually want to get mine framed. So I want to frame my Guernsey and my medal and print out some photos and display it at my place as just a bit of a reminder of pretty unreal. Well, 8 months or so.
I can see you've got your Premiership medal around your neck, which I'll get you to show it again. There it is, right there. So the question I want to ask you then is, how long did you wear your Premiership medal around your neck for? And Do you sleep with it?
Just got to make sure I don't share anything that's not too inappropriate. But yeah, so had a pretty big night after we won. Got changed into our Guernseys, so had a shower, but yeah, the Guernseys had a bit of a sweat shower during the game, and that's about as much as they got. So they were smelling a bit questionable 3 days afterwards. But yeah, so I just remember I woke up on my mate's couch actually in the city and had the medal on and had the Guernsey on, and I remember my first thought was, I've got my medal, I'm set. It was oh, where's my phone, where's my wallet, do I have any money left? It was, I've got my medal, right, I'm good to go. So yeah, for the 3 days, the medal was probably the most important thing in my life. It stayed around my neck where I knew I couldn't lose it. The minute you take it off, it's, yeah, you might not get it. So yeah, definitely slept in the medal, slept in the Guernsey, and kept it on. I think I took it off maybe about Tuesday. I took it off when I had to be an adult again and go back to work the next day. I thought, all right, got to come off now. But yeah, it hangs proudly in my I actually bought a new place, so it's the only piece of artwork I have currently. So it's just white walls. There's no paintings, there's no pictures, and I've got one of those cheap hooks you buy from Bunnings, and I hang my medal on that. That's the only thing in my whole house decorative. So yeah, it'd be good if I can get a bit of artwork or something up. But yeah, it's somewhere I can see every day and be reminded the memories. And the Guernsey has been washed, I can confirm. Bit of nappy to get the stains out, and she's good to go. So
I guess, what does the sport of football mean to you now, especially being there at PINT?
I've always loved footy. I've grown up playing football, and ever since I was little, I've played football. At school, you play markers up, go home, you kick the footy between the two trees at your house, and you know, mum screams at you for hitting the windscreen of the car, and you know, you might break a window or two, but you always try and blame your brother for that somehow. But yeah, I've loved footy all my life, and now I'm 23. I think I'm probably starting to maybe take footy a bit more seriously, and footy to me has always been, you know, I've had to enjoy it, but this season I'm really motivated to work on my fitness and try and take on a bit more of a leadership role at PINTs. Obviously 23 is still quite young, but we've got plenty of good leaders in Katie Stretter, Cassie Henderson around the club that I can just be a sponge and learn off. And I've already learned so much from them, and just how they handle different situations and how they approach game day. So I think this season you know, I've always loved to have fun, don't get me wrong, but I think this season I'm going to try and focus a bit more on footy and my fitness. So that's one of my big things this season, just taking it a bit more seriously, I think, and putting in that bit of extra work, and yeah, just trying to become a bit more of a leader and around the club, and try and use my experience to help anyone, and at the same time make the most of the people we have around us, because yeah, obviously having Rick Nolan it's incredible. There's clubs around Australia that would bring him up and pretty much throw him the checkbook. So for him to have chosen us and committed to not only PINTs as a club, but us, our women's team, he's put so much work into it over the season. He'd cut up footage, you know, you'd send him a message asking for feedback, and he'd get back to you within 10 minutes. He'd ring you up. He really put a lot of effort into helping us become a team and become better and getting us over the line. So yeah, I think this season I just want to make the most of who I've got around me, and try and learn as much as I can. And I mean, who knows, it's a long season and plenty of water goes under the bridge, but I mean, we didn't think we would do what we did last season, and neither did anyone else. So there's no reason we can't do it again.
Now, what would be your advice to people out there that should get involved in footy, especially up there in the top end and especially down at the PINT? Considering I'm pretty sure pre-season's coming up very soon.
Yeah, we've got I think we've got a pre-season camp end of August, and we usually start pre-season about 6 to 8 weeks, I think, before the season. So it's always a good chance to get the extra fitness and start the ball skills. But all my friends, my closest friends, I've met through football. So I think it's a great way to meet people. And, people always say, they become your second family. But once you become part of a team, you actually realize that. You just realize how important they are and how big a part of your life it becomes. So I would encourage anyone, not even just football, I mean, go and join a club, go and play a sport. It will truly change your life. And anyone that wants to try out footy, now with the women's Div 2, there's a perfect platform for someone that, might want to try and see how they go without having too much pressure or without it having to be too serious. That's why the women's Div 2 is great, because it's obviously, you play for a flag and it's got that element of seriousness, but it's a good place to start for someone that's, a bit unsure if they want to play or still learning the rules. It's just a supportive environment. And our women's Div 2, they trained with us for half of every session. So it's not, like we're two separate teams. We're very much, still part of the same club, and it's such a good environment. There's good people, and a lot of the women's teams, I think just about every women's team up here in the senior league has a Div 2 team. So yeah, it's plenty of opportunities to get involved, and if someone can, I'd definitely recommend them.
Couple lighthearted questions about your teammates. I
did see this email. I was thinking, who could I stitch up?
So the first question is, who had the most embarrassing moment on the field last season, and what was it?
Someone kicked the ball backwards. I think that happened a few times.
Yeah.
There was a few Falcons, a few decent Falcons actually. But I think, definitely probably our funniest moments probably happened off the field. We had a few dance floor injuries, but they I think they resolved themselves pretty quick. But we're a pretty social team, so we enjoy each other's company. So I think off the field was probably more of a performance than on the field.
Pretty much my next question after that. So would you like to continue?
We actually have one of our girls, Lavo. So Lavo, if you're listening, she's a character. She's quite funny. Usually the one being laughed at for something, but we love her so much. She's an absolute crack up and lights up the whole room. When you're at a social function or even at the clubhouse having dinner, you can guarantee she'll be making someone laugh or doing something that someone will get on social media, Snapchat for a memory bank later. But so I had a few good times off the field and a few good nights at the PINT Social Club, which also sponsor us. So it's good that we could get back there and get around everyone. But I mean, I think as someone that's played footy for quite a while, I think you have fun on the field, but the best things probably happen off it when you're hanging out with your best mates and your family, and you just enjoy each other's company. And I'm definitely missing not playing for Pints at the moment. I've actually been playing in Cairns for the Cairns City Lions, so I'm glad to still be getting some footy in. But there's nothing like Pints, and you spend 3-4 days a week together, and they just become your family. So I'm pretty keen for season to start, pre-season to start, and see what we can do.
Who's the comedian, the best singer, and the best dancer in the team?
Lavo will probably tell you herself that she's the best comedian. Best dancer, Gee, I reckon best stance. Look, Lavo does pull them out when she wants. She's got a few good moves up her sleeve. Best singer, I reckon we probably all would share that title. When you hear a certified hit come on in Monsoon's nightclub, I think everyone sort of fights each other for the title of the best singer. So I think we'd all be equally as bad as each other. But yeah, funniest teammate, I'd actually say Slats. So Slats, if you hear this, thanks for making me laugh. Slats, yeah, plays Div 2, but you talk to her for 5 minutes and you just want to keep talking to her forever. She's gold. Yeah, I think, but yeah, Slats and Lavo, they're pretty funny. They bit of confidence about them, so not afraid to have a crack. But yeah, bloody love those two.
Now we'll finish off with this last two, which is: do you have a pre-game superstition or ritual?
I wouldn't really call it maybe a ritual. I don't really like to be too regimented because I get worried if for some reason I can't stick to it, then it might, tick over too much in my head. But one thing I definitely do pre-game is I have to listen to music. So I probably come across as a bit rude in the change rooms. I've got my earphones in and I actually don't really talk to anyone, especially about anything not to do with footy. I mean, if I talk to them, it's about the game. So I pretty much, as soon as I get into the change room, then that's it. That's, it's footy, it's the game. I won't really muck around or have a laugh, but I've got to listen to music. I've got a pre-game playlist that I just put on shuffle, and bit of a fidgety person. So I've got to have a footy in my hands, bouncing it around, handballing it against the wall. But other than that, just those two things pretty much. Get to the game early enough. I hate not getting to the ground in time, so always make sure I'm there on time. And if our men's team's playing earlier, I try and get down and support them as well.
We'll finish off with a two-part question. The first one is: did the team have a fine system this year? And if so, who copped the most fines?
This one I don't even have to think about. Lavo again. I think you're getting the picture. So to be honest, we all sort of outdid ourselves every week with our antics. So we racked up a lot of fines money, which is good. But Lavo was fined pretty heavily. I think Reedy as well. Reedy, she's come up from Vic, used to play for Williamstown. She featured pretty prominently in the fines. I got a few. I think I had a few brain fades. So you got a window of 4 hours. There's plenty of opportunity for brain fades. So I think I put a fair bit of money in the kitty for our footy trip and that. So yeah, fair few girls, definitely even spread, I think. But Lavo is the clear winner with the fines. So love you, mate. She knows that. Just cracks me up.
Right, so by the sounds of it, I'll need to get her on the show sometime in the next couple of weeks by the sound of this.
He's a bloody legend. Real good value.
And we'll finish up with this one last one, which is: did you have a player sponsor this year?
Yes. So that was actually something I was hoping to talk about. I actually think he's watches the show and is a pretty good supporter. I've been lucky. I've had Peter Lausch as my player sponsor for at least 3 years. It might even be 4. I'll have to check that one. But so I first met Lauschy when I was playing through NT Thunder in the VFL Women's. He's a incredible supporter of women's football. Yeah. He absolutely loves it. He's all for promoting it. And he sponsors a fair few women as well. And I was lucky enough, he gave me the opportunity if I wanted to take it up to have him sponsor me. And couldn't be more grateful to him for his support not only to me as my sponsor, but to women's football in general. He's a big promoter, big advocate, big fan. He's down at games every week. Right. So yeah, thank you, Laushi, for your time, your support. And I actually remember I messaged Laushi when I made the decision to leave Waratahs, and I, sent him a big long message. I was quite worried because he's a big Waratah fan, and I was not too sure how, it could go down. And I pretty much said, I'd understand if you don't want to sponsor me, and, I'll thank you for everything you've done. And he replied back and he said, as long as you're happy, I'll always be sponsoring you. And I think that goes to show a lot about him and, what his values are. So he's still stuck by me, still happy to sponsor me at PINT. So thank you, Laushi. You do a lot for women's footy, and I'm hopefully have your support for many more years. So I'm pretty grateful for that.
Absolutely. And hopefully we'll be able to hopefully with him come up to NT in next season to watch our very first time of NTFL football up there, and especially now during the off season when your team are in action. So, but Amy, thank you so much for giving up your time. It's awesome having you on the show, and well deserved for the PINT team. Fully deserved it throughout the whole year. Definitely the best team in the competition, and it proved it that way in grand final day. So best of luck. Let's hope that you can try to defend it in 2021-22, and let's hope in around about Feb, March next year that we'll be talking about a back-to-back premiership for not just for your team, but obviously for your Div 2 women's team as well.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me on the show, Will. Really appreciate your coverage of women's footy and all your support. So thank you for having me on Smash FM. Come down to Darwin, watch some games, meet some of the people I've spoken about, and have a good time in Darwin. So thank you again, and thank you to everyone that supports this show and women's footy.
No worries. And that's Amy there, joins from the PINT Football Club, because the reigning champions at the moment in NTFLW. Of course, their season starts, of course, during the normal off season down here in Melbourne. Of course, but we'll put all the details up once their first game and the fixtures are coming up, hopefully in the next couple of months or so. There's more on the Smash Sports Show right after this. Don't go away here on the 10th edition.